Traditional rulers appeal to the government for adequate resources to do better at handling issues of trafficking. An SOS from a number of basic schools in Wikongo and over 190 migrants rescued off the Libyan coast. It's the start of a brand new month. Hello, good evening. You're live on GBC News and GTV. It's time for News Hour. I am Siyoko Kwakutre. Welcome to the news. Angola's president arrived in Accra on Sunday afternoon for a 4-day official visit. Mr. Joao Lourenço is reciprocal to one by President Akufo-Addo to the former Portuguese colony in 2019. It is to strengthen bilateral relations between the two countries. Deputy Director of Communications at the seat of government, Mr. Jefferson Saki, said Ghana and Angola will share some lesson notes.
The president of Angola, Mr. Joao Lourenço, arrived in Accra on Sunday afternoon at the invitation of President Akufo-Addo. Angola was saddled with civil wars after her independence in 1957, but over time has shaken off the unenviable tag and is back on track, practicing multi-party democracy. Ghana and Angola produce oil and gold and some other mineral resources. Apart from deepening bilateral relations, Ghana and Angola hope to explore areas of trade in the wake of the coming into being of the African Continental Free Trade Area for all of Africa to benefit from. Deputy Director of Communications at the Office of the President, Mr. Jefferson Saki, touched on some activities of the visiting president.
President Akufo-Addo was the very first Ghanaian leader to have visited Angola back in August 2019, and we see this as a reciprocal one. In fact, in the next 4 days, President Lourenço is going to be engaged in a number of activities. He's going to be at the Jubilee House on Monday morning, where he's going to hold bilateral talks with President Akufo-Addo. There is also expected to sign a memorandum of understanding that is supposed to be on political consultation between the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration of Ghana and also the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Angola. On Tuesday morning, it is very important also to note the key role that Ghana is playing when it comes to economic cooperation in Africa, being the headquarters of the African Continental Free Trade Area. President Lourenço will visit the headquarters and then also see activities that are ongoing there. He would also visit the Kwame Nkrumah Mausoleum, lay a wreath in honor of one of the pioneering fathers of our country, and then also pioneering leaders of African civilization, if you put it that way. While he's also here, if you clearly remember when President Akufo-Addo was in Angola, he addressed the National Assembly in Angola. President Lourenço is going to do the same thing. He's actually going to visit Ghana's parliament, where he's expected to tell the parliament of Ghana the key things that needs to be done, especially in this time of COVID.
The president of Angola, Mr. Joao Lourenço, is scheduled to return to his home in Southern Africa on Wednesday, August 4, 2021.
Kidnapping has become prevalent in communities in the central Gonja, West Gonja and Bole districts of the northern region, with reports of at least 7 in the last 2 months. So far, the police have arrested a number of suspects who are currently standing trial in connection with various kidnappings. Also, last month, 4 suspected kidnappers were shot to death by a local search party who were detailed to look for a 4-year-old kidnapped boy. The latest is the arrest of 2 more suspected kidnappers by the police in Buipe. The 2, aged 20 and 23, according to a police report, have confessed to kidnapping a young man near Yape in April this year and taking a ransom of 10,000 Ghana cedis from the victim's father. The suspects mentioned 4 other accomplices who are on the run. Earlier we spoke to our Northern Region correspondent Mutala Isa, and he reported that the two suspects have been placed in police custody for further investigations, and a manhunt has been mounted for the arrest of the 4 accomplices who are on the run.
One of the suspects in police custody currently has been traced to northeastern Nigeria, that is around Maiduguri, and he is believed to have participated in other kidnapping activities with extremists in this part of the country. He is in custody in the northern region. Now, we also indicated that some 4 persons were gunned down by a search party, and these 4 persons were wearing black t-shirts and black trousers, suggesting a kind of uniform. And police here are not ruling out the possibility of people being connected to some extremist groups.
A ceremony to commemorate this year's World Day Against Human Trafficking at Mepe in the North Tongue district of the Volta region. The traditional leaders were encouraged to be adequately resourced to enable them to play active roles in the fight against trafficking, especially of children in the country. The day was on the theme, Victims' Voices Lead the Way.
In the year 2010, the United Nations General Assembly adopted a global plan of action to urge governments to take coordinated and consentient measures to fight and end the menace. The theme for this year's celebration, Victims' Voices Lead the Way, seeks to put victims of human trafficking at the center stage of the campaign and highlights the importance of listening and learning from survivors of human trafficking. At the national level, Ghana's adopted theme for this year's day was Human Trafficking Can End. The time is now. Take action to stop all forms of exploitation. It is to encourage partners to take action to help end the menace. The Queen Mother of Mepe in the North Tongue district of the Volta region, Mama Adjo Straku, called for empowerment of traditional leaders to enable them to play active roles in the fight against the menace.
Traditional leaders are not resourced to perform any duty. A lot is expected of us, but nothing is given to us to work with. For now, every initiative we take is done out of our personal pockets.
The Deputy Minister for Gender, Children and Social Protection, Hajia Lariba Zuwaira Abudu, said government is making strides in eradicating the menace. She urged chiefs to serve as ambassadors in the fight against human trafficking and, most importantly, child trafficking.
Ghana as a country has chopped many success and is rated on the Tier 2 ranking. This shows the government is making significant effort in the fight against human trafficking. Human trafficking can end if we collaborate with each other. The time is now, my dear chiefs, to stop all forms of exploitation.
GBC News has this report from the Korigo Primary School in Wikongo, a community in the Talensi district of the Upper East region. In this school, quality education doesn't exist because they virtually have no furniture and the classroom block is in a dilapidated state. Most of the pupils at the Goriko Primary School in Winkongo in the Talensi district of the Upper East region, particularly classes 1 to 3, sit on the bare floor to study as the furniture in the overcrowded classrooms are not enough to go round. For a study surface to write on, some pupils lie on their stomachs to write on. The few dual desks provided by the government and some NGOs some years back are weak. Pupils from primary 4 to 6 have to pair on the few available dual desks in threes instead of 2 on a dual desk. The windows and the doors of the classroom block are in a bad state. Authorities at the basic school say the unfortunate situation is the reality in the district and is impeding any quality teaching and learning in their schools. To support some schools in the the area, a non-profit Joy Makers organization donated over 500 exercise books to 131 pupils in 3 selected basic schools in Winkongo. A member of the Joy Makers organization, Mr. Joseph Angazwa Afalani, said since some of the school pupils attend classes without exercise books, the organization decided to step in and provide them with exercise books. The headmaster of the school, Mr. Samuel Bila, told GBC News that the school had notified the Talented District Assembly about the acute shortage of furniture in the school since it was duty-bound to provide educational infrastructure and logistics, and appealed to benevolent organizations to support. Mr. Bila commended the leadership of Joy Makers for the gesture. The beneficiary schools are Goriko, Winkongo Central, and Dabori Primary Schools. The headmaster and pupils at the various basic schools appealed to the government through the Ministry of Education to provide them with the needed teaching and learning materials.
If your teacher wrote anything on the board, what?
Managers and teachers of basic schools are being asked to help pupils to learn to weed their school compounds rather than sending them to farms to work as a form of punishment. This was a suggestion by the head teacher of the Methodist Primary School, Mr. Francis Kwame Atta at Yeji in the Pru East District of the North East region. He believes if this is done gradually, the children will not see farming as laborious and will not turn their backs to it when they become adults. Peggy Amadonko reports.
It is a wet Friday morning. The first lesson is over, and pupils of the Methodist Primary School at Yeji in the Pru East District in the Bono East region are busily weeding their school compound. The pupils happily removing unwanted plants under the supervision of some of their teachers. It is often reported that some teachers send their pupils to their farms to work as a form of punishment. This is believed to be one of the reasons why most pupils are reluctant to go into farming or agriculture later in life. This weeding time for pupils of the Yeji Methodist Primary School, head teacher Mr. Francis Kwame Atta says it's part of the plan to get the pupils interested in farming.
I'm happy you are here and then to see our children working. We made them to clean the compound because cleanliness, they say, is next to godliness. As we learn in the classroom, we come to the field to maybe work, clean, and then keep the compound tidy. So if you have come to meet the children working, doing this, they will not be feeling lazy or reluctant to join the farming occupation. So if you have come to meet them, we have made them to come and weed for a while and then get back to the classroom.
It is hoped that from this training, a few of the pupils will get the interest to venture into the field of agriculture in future.
The inability of the contractor working on the Makango-Salaga Road in the Savannah region to Tamale in the northern region to deliver the project on schedule is affecting business in the area. Some residents in the area are calling on the roads ministry to impress upon the contractor to step up the pace of work on the road. They say its current condition is affecting every aspect of their life. Another report by Peggy Amadonko.
Makango is the first town in the East Gonja municipality of the Savannah region after crossing the Volta Lake from Yeji in the Bono East region. It is a settler farming and fishing community. The road, the only major link from the Savannah region through Salaga to the rest of the northern part of the country, has been in bad shape for decades. Its unmotorable nature is affecting farmers as they are unable to cut their produce from the farm gates to the market centers. The little town of Makango has a tall list of issues needing attention.
We have a problem, a lot of problems in Makango. One, our route. From here to Salaga, if you want to travel from here to Salaga, instead of, let's say, 1 hour time, you get about 3 hours time before you get to Salaga.
Even though the contractor was on site, neither he nor any of his staff were willing to talk to us. Work, however, is ongoing steadily. Peggy Amadonko, reporting from Makango in the Savannah region.
The annual Jehovah's Witnesses Convention, dubbed Powerful by Faith, is underway in over 500 languages across the globe. Due to the COVID-19 pandemic, this year's convention is presented online at jw.org.
The annual Jehovah's Witnesses Convention is virtual for the second year in a row due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Friday's session centered on why it is reasonable to have faith in God's existence, His Word, His moral standards, and His love, drawing inspiration from Luke 17, verse 5. The first convention talk was themed, How Powerful is Faith? It also featured a dramatic Bible reading about Noah and how faith moved him to obey. The last talk on Friday morning program sought to encourage all to have faith and not to doubt.
Deuteronomy 32:29 says, Be wise, ponder over this, think about the outcome. In other words, contemplate the benefits of obeying God's moral standards. In contrast, the consequences of disobeying God's moral standards can be severe.
Other speakers also examined wonders of the natural world which can strengthen one's faith in the Creator's promises. In a 3-part symposium titled, Why Do We Have Faith? Does God Exist? The speaker said, without faith, Christians cannot endure trials and tribulations, adding that to ensure everlasting life, all must obey Jehovah like Abraham.
Your faith in God's standards will grow as you experience the benefits of living by them. Obeying God's moral standards protects us physically, emotionally, and spiritually.
A feature Bible drama tagged Daniel, A Lifetime of Faith, will highlight how Daniel reacts to temptations, trials, and ridicule and lessons learned. Presented online at jw.org, the last session is slated for August 22, 2021.
Time now to bring you some of the past week's headlines in pictures.
It's GTP,
the name behind authentic and original Ghanaian textile prints.
and West Africa's leading